The Pentagon has just acknowledged that on November 8th, Houthi rebels shot down a U.S. Air Force MQ-9 Reaper drone flying off the coast of Yemen in international airspace over the Red Sea. The Houthis are a rebel group that grew from Shia tribal origins opposed to the rule of the Yemeni government in the early 90s. The Houthis accused the government of being corruptly backed by Saudi Arabia, which in turn led them to fight the Saudi-led intervention in Yemen. Since that time, as well as fighting the Saudis, the Houthis have been warring with the regional versions of ISIS and al-Qaeda. The Houthi slogan basically tells you everything you need to know about the potential threat they pose. It reads, "God is the greatest, death to America, death to Israel, cursed be the Jews, victory to Islam." The MQ-9 Reaper has been operated by the Air Force Special Operations Command since 2007. The drone has a wingspan of 66 feet, which makes it roughly as wide as an F-14 Tomcat with the wings fully forward, and can fly at an airspeed of nearly 300 knots, although it generally loiters at around 170 knots when flying long missions. The Reaper can carry laser-guided bombs, JDAMs, Hellfire missiles, and even Sidewinder heat-seeking air-to-air missiles. The operational concept of the Reaper is they're loaded onto C-17s to get to whatever part of the world a situation demands. Part of the mobile kit includes a ground control station that allows pilots in the local area to launch and land the Reapers, while the bulk of the missions are flown by other pilots located at stateside command centers. This shootdown is the second incident between the Houthis and the American military in recent weeks. As reported in a previous episode, on October 19th, while sailing in the northern part of the Red Sea, the destroyer USS Carney used Standard missiles and their close-in weapon system to shoot down 3 missiles and 8 drones launched by the Houthis. According to Pentagon spokesman Brigadier General Ryder, the Iranian-supplied Quds missiles were headed north, presumably towards targets in Israel, which is 1,000 miles from Yemen, a range that is right around the maximum capability of land attack cruise missiles. This shootdown isn't the first time the Houthis have bagged a Reaper. In October of 2017 and June of 2019, the rebel group shot MQ-9s down over western Yemen using Iranian-supplied surface-to-air missiles. The difference this time is the Reaper was in international waters when it was hit, which technically makes the attack an act of war. In the face of that reality, the question is what the United States intends to do about it. In recent weeks, the Pentagon has positioned a number of U.S. Navy assets in the region. 2/3 of the Bataan Amphibious Ready Group, the USS Bataan and the USS Carter Hall, are positioned in the northern part of the Red Sea, with several thousand Marines poised to conduct assaults from the air or sea as ordered. Those troops are supported by Harrier jump jets and Viper helicopters capable of ground attack. And as reported on this channel earlier this week, a carrier strike group led by the USS Dwight D. Eisenhower has just entered the Red Sea, bringing with it the firepower of Carrier Air Wing 3's 4 Super Hornet fighter attack aircraft, along with other squadrons that can perform a wide range of relevant missions depending on the scenario. In addition to a cruiser and several destroyers, the Eisenhower Carrier Strike Group includes the USS Florida, an Ohio-class submarine that carries over 150 Tomahawk land attack cruise missiles. This picture shows Florida transiting the Suez Canal southward, something submarines aren't allowed to do submerged, in spite of what they call the quote-unquote silent service's desire to remain unseen as much as possible. The question is whether this increased U.S. military presence, designed to keep the Israel-Hamas war from spreading throughout the Middle East, will act as a deterrent or not. So far, it has not stopped attacks on U.S. military outposts and bases throughout Iraq and Syria. The Pentagon announced yesterday that in the wake of upwards of 40 attacks on U.S. military installations, they had conducted a second quote-unquote defensive airstrike against Iranian-backed militants linked to the Republican Guard based in eastern Syria, this time using F-15E Strike Eagles instead of the F-16s they used during the strike against similar targets on October 27th. Defense Secretary Austin's statement about the strike was almost identical to the language he used following the first one. In a statement to the Pentagon press corps, he said, quote, "The president has no higher priority than the safety of U.S. personnel," and he directed today's action to make clear that the United States will defend itself, its personnel, and its interests, end quote. More on this volatile situation as the information becomes available, so if you're not already a subscriber, become one so you don't miss anything. And if you'd like to help support the channel, please consider using the super thanks, the heart icon below, or become a patron at patreon.com/WardCarroll. And in the meantime, I look forward to talking to you again very soon.